says, and they've certified that they don't have any of this information. And so what do you want them to do? Make it up? They don't have it.
Well,
that's it. Motion is denied if they certify they don't have it.
Here's the beauty of that. They are damned if they do and damned if they don't, because we already know the underlying facts. For them to say we don't have anything, that's dereliction. You have to have those things. You have to have investigated it. You have to have come to some conclusions about each of these details. And if you say, well, we don't have anything, well, then you screwed that up at a higher level. So, no, they're screwed. I'm serious. Tim Bradle should have a bodyguard when he goes to North Andover. And tomorrow we'll be there in Lawrence for the first time. They've moved it. Now we're out of Salem. We'll be in North Andover tomorrow. Yeah. And we have already put in for streaming. So it'll be one way or the other, it's going to be covered.
Right. It's going to be put in for streaming. We'll either share it with somebody, but Michael is taking the trip. That was unexpected. Trip number 30,000, I think. But it's worth it, because this is going to be some hearing, and the court's going to want to avoid these issues, but they're out there. They're out there at this point.
Yep. And that means I can talk about them after the fact with the players, ask them about them, because it's out there. So, and when's the hearing going to be? There's going to have to be a hearing. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So one of the first exhibit that we're going to get into is from Kelsey herself. Okay. I will blow this up a little bit more because it's a lot of single space. There we go. That's a little better.
Single space and small types.
Yes, it is. The font size is muy pequeño. From last night, I'm saving some of my Spanish. Okay, on July 3rd at approximately 9:35 a.m., Justin the alien broke into my residence at 125 Phillips Brooks Road in North Andover. Justin had moved out of my home, days prior, just before she was shot. He has acknowledged that he no longer lives there in the affidavit he filed with Essex Probate and Family Court. On June 30th while applying for a restraining order. So
an affidavit is under oath.
Just those two
things.
If
you lie in an affidavit, you can go to jail.
Here's the video of me breaking in to a house I say I don't live at anymore. My father, Stephen Fitzsimmons, is the owner of an electronic security company and installs burglar alarms and surveillance systems. Upon Justin vacating the home prior to the July 3rd break-in, my father changed the locks and replaced the surveillance system after the June 30th service of the restraining order and the taking of my child. Justin did not have authorization to enter my home and had just sworn to a court that he needed a restraining order keeping me away from him, yet he came to my home and broke in.
Oh, that is such a beautiful line.
It is, yeah. Is that one of those good for the goose,
I'm
good for the gander?
I'm so scared of her. She's so dangerous, Judge Neiman. Remember Catherine Neiman? What's her last name? She's so dangerous that he came to my house and broke in. Oh.
If McCarthy Neiman is smart, she is thanking her lucky stars right now that she is no longer involved in this case.
She should be debenched, but that's beside the point.
That's true. They've got a lot of problems there. As the video clearly shows, Justin broke my front door and door jamb in order to gain entry. It's also scary how easy you can bust through a door, isn't it?
Well, the big car with. Let me show you a little bit. Who was the old actor in the old westerns who would bust through doors? John Wayne. He turned out he was racist, as it turned out. But
Well, this guy, Alien, as we know from his appearance in court, and as he rushed by me, he's not very big. Not a very big guy at all.
Got attitude though. He's got tude. He's got tude.
He's thin and he's he doesn't have a lot of beef, but he popped through that door without a whole lot of problem. I guess motivation.
Yeah, I was wondering whether he picked up his sunglasses. I couldn't see that. I want to know. I want all of you to watch that video 100 times over and tell me.
We're going to watch it like this Zapruder film, but let's go through some more documents here. Okay. Upon entry, Justin and the 3 other individuals are seen on video entering my basement and immediately disconnecting the surveillance system that was installed and actively recording. Justin proceeded to steal several items from my home that unequivocally did not belong to him. Some of the items he stole were my laptop, my iPad, my passport, and an important piece of evidence that he took off the refrigerator, a handwritten letter he wrote to me shortly before he went to court with his false restraining order affidavit, stating in clear terms that I am an amazing mother and partner. This letter completely contradicts the lies and misrepresentations filed in that affidavit.
By the way, just the stealing of one letter is theft, okay?
Sure, the value on it's going to make it probably petty theft, but who knows? And then, of course, he could always say that I didn't write that. The letter completely contradicts the lies and misrepresentations filed in that affidavit. It is a crucial piece of evidence that destroys his credibility by his own hand, which is why he stole it. And he is presently depriving me of its use for my defense, which is, it's just despicable. Have I said that? I'm aware from my experience as a police officer and a law student that the GL Chapter 268, Section 13E, a felony prohibits the destruction or concealment of evidence, stating, whoever alters, destroys, mutilates, or conceals a record, document, or other object, or attempts to do so with the intent to impair the record, document, or object's integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding, whether or not the proceeding is pending at the time, shall be punished. If the proceeding involves the violation of a criminal statute, as is the case here, the punishment's up to 10 years in prison. So it's not the value of the note, it's just the destruction of the item as evidence. Once Justin stole my laptop, then brought it to his home in Stowe, Mass., where he resides with his mommy and daddy.
Who now are complicit and may be co-conspirators.
They could be accessories. They really could be. Or if not, they can be squeezed and maybe, used. We'll see. I know this because he proceeded to connect to his parents' home Wi-Fi, Braceland 4, screenshot of internal connection included with this file. And there is 4 or 5 pages, which we won't go into, but it basically itemizes the things she's talking about here. Once connected to the internet at his parents' residence, he successfully gained access to my Facebook, AOL, email account, Gmail account. Once he accessed my email accounts, he was able to gain access to my Expedia account, checking and savings accounts, beneficiary information, and paperwork for my pension, patient portal for medical records, ambulance reports where I was the patient, and looking at my medical records from both Lawrence Hospital and Mass General Hospital, among other things. He also used my stolen computer and my identity. This guy has just
there's so many charges
no
here.
shame to gain access to bank accounts, and he was able to withdraw approximately $5,000 in funds and close the accounts while impersonating me under my login credentials. And that's bank fraud. That is federal right there. That's huge federal crime.
Right. They haven't mentioned this, but you got a lot of federal issues, federal crimes.
That one is just a slam dunk, simple. That's easy.
I plead the fifth, Your Honor.
Justin, again posing as me, further obtained and accessed a release form for my medical records through my Gmail account. He further accessed a change of beneficiary form for my pension. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Through my Gmail account. Again, under my identity. He accessed my Expedia account and canceled a trip that was planned, booked, and paid for. He further accessed and received the refund for the trip.
That's stealing identity. You're gonna need a whole encyclopedia of things that could have, would have, should have been charged, and if they weren't, could have, would have, should have been charged. There's a reason why, and quite frankly, this should be referred to the federal government right now.
No doubt.
I'm sure there's no issue right now. Really, your firefighters should be these kind of people, all right? And then what do you do with the baby? But you know what the problem is? The baby is going to be the issue, because right now the baby is being taken care of by Justin's mommy, I'm sure, mommy and daddy, right? Bonding to mommy and daddy, because they're not allowing them to see mommy and daddy of Kelsey or Kelsey. Well, I think that's going to have to, I would use the F word, but I'm being nice. That would have to change soon.
He further accessed and received the refund for the trip into his personal checking account, again posing as me. None of these actions were authorized. And this had to be so cathartic writing this, don't you think?
Yeah.
Were authorized by me, and only access to these items comes from impersonating me through my login information. I am aware from my experience as a police officer and law student that stealing someone's identity is a misdemeanor under GL Chapter 266, Section 37E, which provides that whoever with intent to defraud poses as another person without the express authorization of that person and uses such person's personal identity, identifying information to obtain or to attempt to obtain money, credit, goods, services, anything of value, any identification card, or other evidence of such person's identity, or to harass another, shall be guilty of identity fraud and shall be punished. This is a summary of the facts known to me and is not intended to be an exhaustive document with every applicable fact. Whew. Kelsey Fitzsimmons.
And that's just one exhibit. Okay, we have more.